Now, we're here at the Department of the Interior, which is a great place to celebrate Great Outdoors Month and Great Outdoors Week. And we're especially delighted because we have at the helm of the Department of the Interior a wonderful champion, somebody that I've known for a bunch of years, who comes out of recreation. It's the first time ever that the recreation community has had such a visible Washington, D.C. presence. And I would ask you to join me in greeting the relatively new, but fully engaged Secretary of the Interior, Sally Jewell.
Thank you, Derek. I'm watching all of you eat ice cream, and I have to say it's a good thing it's Great Outdoors Month. We're going to actually get outdoors. So I encourage you to do that as soon as we're done, because it's a beautiful day outside, and the rain has stopped, and nothing better than playing outside to work off some ice cream. Nothing better than ice cream to reward yourself for playing outside too, by the way. So thank you and welcome to the Department of the Interior. Whether you work here and you're familiar with the building or you don't, we welcome you. It is fantastic that this president and the president before him have consistently every year declared the month of June Great Outdoors Month. And getting a presidential seal of approval and all of these governor's seals of approval puts it on the radar with the states that says this is important to your state and to your economy. And this is important to all of us as human beings that need a connection to nature. So good for them on raising visibility. Good for all of you on actually translating that into action. So it's been a fun week for me. It hasn't all been the week of the month of June. But in the last week, I've had the privilege of kayaking down a river in Rhode Island with the 2 senators from Rhode Island and a congressman from Rhode Island. So I said to them, like, in my confirmation process, I'm going to do my best to meet you outside somewhere, hiking on a trail or in a kayak. And I think for one of the senators, it was the first time in a kayak. The other one had been for a long time. And for the congressman, I don't think he'd been in a kayak before, but one of the senators, who was quite experienced, decided to hold on to his boat, and so he was trying to paddle and not going anywhere. And when he got caught, he said, well, this is the way the House and the Senate get along. So there's something that's really fun about being in the outdoors that builds relationships, and the same is true with young people. So today, I had my fishing clothes on before I had to dress up for this. You feel bad now?
Yeah.
Rowan was dressed down like I was, and we were out on the Anacostia River with a group of school kids from urban Washington, D.C. area schools, and many of them were going fishing for the first time. We were there with Johnny Morris from Bass Pro Shops, who sponsored the event, and he provided them all with ball caps, so he's got a bunch of little ads running around all over D.C., which is good for him. But you know, we were sticking worms on hooks and throwing them overside and not catching a darn thing here, as I can tell. At least I did. Did you? No, but it was still fun. But for a lot of these kids, they are living in D.C., they're living within a very short walk of the Anacostia River, the Potomac River, and they've never been to the river. So I was asking them, how many of you have been on boats? How many of you have fished before? And most of them had not, or, you know, I mean, a few had. And as I chatted with them and said, you know, if you had been fishing, who took you out? Well, my grandfather took me out, or my mom took me out, or my uncle. So our role is really, really important in connecting children to nature and the outdoors. And I want to give a shout out to the Beacon Award winners. Congratulations to all of you, because we're dealing with a generation that is wired. A generation for whom a device in their pocket is just a natural part of who they are. And we shouldn't be afraid of that. We should embrace it and use it as a tool to make the outdoors more fun for kids. And there's no better time than the president to do that, and no better example of that than the Beacon Award winners, who are using their own ingenuity in sometimes big, complicated, bureaucratic organizations to still find ways to connect children to nature and bring the rest of the organizations along so that we can be on the cutting edge of that. So let's give all the Beacon Award winners one more round of applause. So I just want to say that the Great American Backyard Campout's coming up. When is that, Derek?
24th?
June 22nd.
June 22nd, so I encourage you, if you have a backyard, or even if you don't have a backyard, to find somebody's backyard to camp out in. One of these days I used a backyard that's about a block and a half from here. I'd love to get a camp out there. I have a quite convinced represent that are so critical to our public lands and our infrastructure. So whether you're a nonprofit organization like the American Hiking Society, or you are a business like Unilever, or you're a private philanthropist like David Rubenstein, who I went up the Washington Monument with, up the scaffolding yesterday, who donated money for repairs on the Washington Monument. It is outside partners, public-private partnerships that really are the margin of excellence in our public lands, and I will continue to work with Congress to make sure that they're not the margin of survival, because these are public lands, the public needs to support them, but they're not the same without having private engagement. So for those of you from outside, thank you very much for doing that. For those of you in the agencies, thank you for your hard work, because people here do work hard and they feel underappreciated generally, and certainly the media does a good job of making federal employees not feel as good about themselves as they should. So thank you all for being here, for the creativity displayed around the room, again for our award winners for illustrating how we can use technology to better connect all of ourselves to nature and the outdoors, and particularly to young people. So get out there, have some fun outdoors, work off that ice cream, have another one, and work take some young people with you. Thank you very much.